Hello, this is Stephen Baltz, your instructor for Computer Applications Online at Ozarka College. And today, what I'm going to do is take you through the steps in creating the flyer in Word Module 1. So if you haven't already opened up Word on your computer, what you'll need to do is go through the steps on page WD1-3 and open up Word on your computer. It's going to be a little bit different for each user, so just wherever the Word program is on your computer, go ahead and open it. It may be on the Start menu, it may be on your desktop, but wherever it is, go ahead and open up Microsoft Word. And what you'll need to do is look on page 1-2, WD1-2 in your book, and it shows you what the finished flyer should look like in figure 1-1. So that's what our flyer should look like when we're done. And so we're going to kind of go through the steps to create this flyer. Alright, so once you've opened up Word, what you're going to do is, of course, make sure that you follow the steps on page 1-4 by clicking the blank document thumbnail in the Word screen, and then making sure that your Word window is maximized. And that's what you see on my screen right here. My Word window is open and it is maximized, and I've got a new blank document. Alright, now in this video I'm not going to go over the terminology, so you're going to need to read through, if you haven't already done so, go ahead and read through the module and kind of get a better understanding of the terminology that's used, so that as we're going through the module and going through the steps, you will understand the terminology as we're going through the steps. Alright, so if you haven't already read through the module, you'll need to do that. Alright, so what we're going to do, the first few pages of the module just kind of give you some basic terminology, again, that you need to read through. Alright, so what we're going to do is start on page 1-10, and it tells us to click the View tab up on the ribbon. Okay, so we're going to click on View, and that opens up the View tab sheet, and then it wants us to verify that the Print Layout button is selected over here in the Views section. Okay, so right here, make sure Print Layout is selected, and then we're also going to verify that the zoom over here is set to 100%. Alright, so you can look down here on the status bar and see that we have 100% selected as the zoom level. So make sure you've done that. Also, make sure that the ruler checkbox is selected up here in this Show section of the View tab sheet. So make sure that the ruler checkbox has a little check in it, because we're going to need the ruler later. Alright, and then once you're done with that, verifying all those things, you're going to click the Home tab up on the ribbon to move to the Home tab sheet. And then you're going to also verify that the Normal button is selected under the Styles section. Alright, the Styles gallery on the Home tab. So right here, make sure Normal is selected. Okay? Alright, then what we're going to do on page 1-11, we're going to start out by adjusting the margins. Alright, so the way we're going to do that is we're going to click the Layout tab up on the ribbon, and then we're going to click on Margins over here on the left hand side, and on the Margins drop down box, we're going to click Narrow. Alright, because we want to use narrower margins than what we would normally use as the default in Word. So the normal margins in Word or the default margins are 1 inch all the way around, top, bottom, left, and right. But in this particular document that we're going to work on, this flyer, we're going to need a little bit of extra space to get it all on one page. So that's why we're changing the margins to narrow. So click on narrow. Alright. Then on page 1-12, we're going to start out here by typing the headline of the flyer. Alright, which is the first paragraph of the flyer, which just kind of introduces the topic to your audience. So we're going to type that in. Wash your hands, and make sure that you include the exclamation mark at the end there, the punctuation at the end of the headline. Alright. Then we're going to press the enter key. Alright. To move down to the next line. And then we're going to, on page 1-13, we're going to change the zoom of the zoom to page width. So that we can see our document in our document window a little bit easier. So to do that, you're going to click the View tab again, just like we did earlier. And instead of 100% here, we're going to click on Page Width in the Zoom section. So Page Width, and that expands or zooms in on your document and basically makes it the width of the document window, the width of your screen basically, so you can see it better. So you can see what you're doing. Alright, so now we've got that done. We can see our document a little bit better. So now on page 1-14, we need to display the formatting marks. The formatting marks are just little marks that tell us where we pressed enter or where we pressed the space bar and tab key and so forth, so that we know that we're formatting our document correctly. Alright, and so you might, if you haven't already, read information about the formatting marks there on the top of page 1-14. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to click the Home tab up on the ribbon, and then in the paragraph group, if the Show Hide button is not already selected, you'll need to click on it. Okay, mine's already selected, so I was already showing my formatting marks. But if yours wasn't already selected right here in the paragraph group, you'll need to click on it. And when you do that, you'll be able to see these little paragraph marks where we pressed enter. These little marks right here and right here. Okay. Alright, so once we've done that, we need to now type in the first paragraph of the body of our flyer. So on page 1-15, we're going to start typing in the next paragraph here, which is the first paragraph of the body of our announcement. So, washing your hands with soap and water can decrease outbreaks of food-borne illness because it can prevent spreading germs from your hands to food. Okay? And of course, as you're typing that text, you'll need to kind of make sure that you're typing it correctly. If you notice spelling errors or any kind of typos, you need to go ahead and fix that as you type the text. All right. Once we get that first body paragraph typed in, we're going to press the enter key, okay, to move down to the next paragraph. All right. On the bottom of page 1-15, it talks about spelling and grammar check. Again, I'm not going to go over that in this video, but you can just read through that. It's pretty self-explanatory. Just kind of read through it. All right. On page 1-16, we're going to enter some more text. So, with the insertion point on the third paragraph here, we're going to type in the next paragraph. So we're going to type in the word how and then a question mark. All right, which was step 1 on page 1-16. Then I'm going to press the enter key. And I'm going to type in what it shows there on step 2, which is wet hands with clean water. Wait, clean. And it actually wants us to intentionally misspell the word clean because we're going to fix it later. Okay. Running water and apply soap. So wet hands with clean running water and apply soap. Okay, and then press enter. And then we're going to type in the next paragraph, which is lather hands, and then in parentheses, palms, backs, below nails, between fingers, around thumbs, and then close your parentheses, and then by rubbing them together with the soap, period, and then enter. Then you're going to type the next paragraph, which is shown there on step 4 on page 1-16. So we're going to type in scrub hands, and we're going to intentionally misspell the word for, at least 20 seconds. And again, we're intentionally misspelling some words in our text here so that we can learn how to use spell check later on to fix the errors. Alright, so our next paragraph is going to be rinse soap off of hands under clean running water, period, and then press the enter key. And then we're going to type in the next paragraph, which is on step 6 there on page 1-16, which is dry hands well using a towel, or, and we're going to purposely enter the word or twice. Again, we're going to fix that later. Or an air dryer. Okay, so just type everything in exactly the way it's shown there. Basically what we're doing. Alright, now, remember I said that we were going to intentionally misspell some words and repeat some words so that we could learn how to fix those, because no matter what kind of document you're doing in Word, you're going to make mistakes and you're going to have to go back and fix those. But the good thing is Word has a spelling and grammar check that makes it easy to go back and correct your errors. Alright, so on the bottom of page 1-16 and continues on to page 1-17, it kind of explains how to check your spelling and grammar as you work in a document. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to go back and fix the errors that we intentionally included in our text. So the first thing we're going to do is right click the flagged word that has a red wavy underline, which is the word clean that we intentionally misspelled right up here. Okay, so we're going to right click on that intentionally misspelled word, the word clean without the A, and when you right click on it, it will present a list to you of potentially correct spellings for that word. And so find the correct spelling and click on it. That's as simple as it is to fix your errors with spell check in Microsoft Word. Alright, So now we got the correct spelling here for the word clean. Alright, the next thing that is flagged is the blue double underline on the word for. And actually mine doesn't have that, but if it doesn't actually have the blue double underline, which mine doesn't, for some reason, what you're going to do is just basically correct it manually, okay? Because we know it's incorrect, so I'm just going to go in and correct that manually. If you actually have the double blue underline, then you would right click on it, just like it shows in your book there on step 3 on page 1-17, and then you would click on the desired correction. Okay? Alright, and that it's good to understand that Word is not going to always find every error. It's not always going to flag everything, so that's why you always have to go back and manually read through it as well. Alright, the next word that's flagged is right here, off of, and it's a gold dotted underline. And what we're going to do there is right click on it, and it'll show suggested corrections, and we're going to click just the word off, and that it should just read rinse soap off hands. You don't really need the word of there, and that's why it was flagged. Alright, so we've got those corrections. The only other correction that we need to make, actually there are two more, actually just one more correction. Down on the very last paragraph, you'll notice, remember we purposely typed the word or twice, and so it's going to flag that as a misspelled word. So we're going to right click on the red wavy underline, and we're going to click on delete repeated word. Alright, so we've got all of our corrections made using the spell check, and now we're going to press the N key on our keyboard. Okay, and what that does is that's going to move us to the end of the paragraph that our insertion point was on, which will basically be the end of that last paragraph. Alright, and then on page 1-19, with the insertion point at the end of the last line of the document, we need to press the enter key. Okay. And then we're going to press the enter key one more time. Okay. Because we want a blank space between the sections of our flyer here. Okay. Because basically the reason that we're adding that extra space there is because that's where our picture is going to go later. So our picture is going to go right here. And that's why we wanted to press enter twice here to move, kind of have a blank paragraph in between the two sections of our flyer. Alright, so we are ready to type in some more text on page 1-19 under to enter more text. We're going to type in the word when and a question mark, and then press enter, and then we're going to type in after eating, coughing, sneezing, or using a tissue. And then press enter. And then we're going to type in before, during, and after preparing food and press enter. Then we're going to type in after using or assisting someone in the restroom, press enter. And then after touching an animal, animal feed, or animal waste, press enter. And then after handling dirty equipment, or garbage, and press enter. And then you're going to type in the what's called the signature line of the flyer, which is the very last paragraph, which kind of tells the person looking at the flyer what they need to do next. In this case, we're going to give them a link to a website that gives them additional information about hand washing. So we're going to type in what's shown there on step 7 on page 1-19, which is visit www.foodworkers.com for additional information. No, not additional information. Additional hand washing tips. So just make sure you type that correctly there. Alright, so we've got that. And then what we're going to do is on page 1-21, we're going to save the document for the first time. Alright, so we're going to click File up on the ribbon to go to Backstage View, and then we're going to click on Save As. And as far as where you save your documents for this class, you just need to make sure you save it somewhere where you're going to be able to access it to upload it into the activities page in Miles Arca. So it really doesn't matter where you save the files for this class. What matters is that you're able to save it in a place that is easy to get to, and where you know where you need to go to access the file when you get ready to upload it for your assignment. Alright, so what I've done is I've created a folder called CPSI 1003, which is the name of this class, and so I'm going to save mine there. So I'm just going to open that folder by double clicking on it. Again, you would just navigate to wherever you're going to save the file. Alright, and then what you're going to do is type in the name of the file, which is shown there on step 3 on page 1-22. So we're going to type this as we're going to save this as SC underscore WD1 underscore 1 underscore wash hands flyer unformatted. Okay, so just make sure you type that correctly as the file name in the file name box right up here. Alright, and then once you get that typed in, you're going to click on the Save button to the right. Okay, and now we've got it saved. The way that you know that you've got it saved is look up on the title bar, and it should show the file name that we just typed in, what we saved the file as. Okay, alright, so we've got that. And at this point, I'm going to stop this particular section of the video. This is going to be part 1. And in part 2, we'll go through and start on page 1-23 and work through some more pages of the module. Alright, so I will talk to you then.